Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Mm.
If you would all mute your microphones for me so that you can hear the presenters better, that would be awesome. And before we begin this forum, I just wanted you to know that our next forum is going to be in May, where we're planning another panel, this time of elementary school teachers, who will be talking about stages of development in children who have intellectual disabilities. So make sure you watch your social media for that invitation and to share it out with your friends. We're really happy today to present today's family forum on summer camps for individuals who have intellectual disabilities. We're fortunate enough to have three excellent camp directors with us. And okay, hang on just a second. I lost my page. First of all, we have Aaron Newport, and is Aaron is a Kansas native who attended Fort Hays State University in Kansas. She earned a bachelor's degree in recreation and sports management. Aaron has spent the past 23 years in various roles throughout her camping career, and she started off as a camp counselor herself. In her first summer, the experience had a great impact on her life, and she changed her major in her senior year of college. Erin has always had a passion to work with people with disabilities, whether it is in her job or as a volunteer. Kathy Beals is the current board president for Camp New Hope and has been a board member for the last 3 years. As a volunteer, she helps out with Camp New Hope, the Relay for Life, Special Olympics Family Festival, and the Neoga Days Committee. Her full-time job is as a certified public accountant, and she currently manages the Charleston office for Vanderburg Financial Services. And we're grateful she could take time out of busy tax season to join us tonight. And finally, we have Jasmine Cave. Jasmine is a recreational therapist, faculty member in the SIU Carbondale Recreation Therapy Program, and the recreation therapy specialist at SIU's Touch of Nature for the Veteran Adventures Program and Camp Little Giant. She also has certifications from USA Archery, Drums Alive, Certified Adaptive Recreation and Sports Specialist, and she's certified horsemanship in the Horsemanship Association. That's quite a list of accomplishments. So we're going to start off with Jasmine. Jasmine, can you tell us what parents should look for when they're choosing just the right camp for their campers?
I can. I am so excited to talk to you all this evening about picking the right camp. Selecting a camp is so exciting. It's like window shopping for the best summer experience of your life, right? So I'm going to share a little PowerPoint here. Oh, that is. I think I'd have the Zoom thing down by now, right? And yet I do not. That is not what I want. Okay, we're just going to roll with it like this. Can you all see it?
Yes.
Perfect. So first you need to decide what type of camp you want to go to, right? Do you want to just do a day camp or do you want to go to a residential overnight camp? And they're both, pros and cons. So on a day camp, you're typically going to look at something that's going to follow a typical school day. Drop-offs usually somewhere around 8 or 9, and then you'll have your camp activities from roughly 9 to 3. Some might be a little shorter than that, some might be a little longer. And then pick up to go home is typically, again, 3 to 4. So the pros of that format is you don't have an overnight. Some people don't want to stay overnight. You prefer to sleep at home, and that's okay. You're also more accessible if you need a little more assistance, and the cost is typically quite a bit lower in a day camp. The cons to day camp is you have to get there every day, and then you have to be picked up each day. So you need to make sure that you have adequate transportation, and it usually means you have to be in driving distance of that camp. When we're looking at residential overnight camps, campers can stay anywhere from 5 to 14 days. So these tend to be a little bit longer. So you get to be at camp a lot more. So you get to do more activities, meet more people, have a little more friends. You also need to consider what housing looks like at that camp, because it can vary quite a bit. You might stay in something that looks like an apartment, like it's inside, it's air conditioned, you have a bathroom just like you would at home. Or you might have a little bit more of an outdoor based residential camp. So you might be staying in a cabin that may or may not have electricity, and you probably don't have running water in that cabin. So it just depends on what you're looking for. The pros, camp can be much farther away, right? Because you're going to be there for a long time and you're not going to get picked up until camp is over. So it could be out of state, it could be farther away. Cons, it might not be as accessible if you need help with some things, and it tends to be more expensive because you're staying for a long time. So once you've decided that you want a day camp or an overnight camp, the next thing you'll want to look at is what kind of activities does that camp have? So typically you're going to have two basic styles of camp. You'll have your outdoor adventure-based camp, and then you'll have something that's considered a more traditional camp. So outdoor adventure, you might be, if you have swimming, it's probably in a lake, not a pool. You might go canoeing, you might go kayaking, you might have zip lining at your camp, horseback riding, rafting, mountain biking. You'll have a lot more high adventure outdoor-based activities. You might even go hiking or backpacking. For a traditional camp, you're going to have things like arts and crafts. You'll have campfire activities. You'll have more traditional sports like you do in Special Olympics. You'll also probably swim in a pool instead of a lake. And you'll have like talent shows and dances and more things that we think about as a traditional camp activity. All right, let's say that you've decided you're doing a day camp or an overnight camp. You found one that has all the activities that you would love to do this summer. So the next thing, how do you make that final decision? How do you decide if that's the one that you want to go to? So first we're going to look at staffing. What's the staff ratio, right? And will that work for you or your camper? What qualifications does the staff have? Do they have medical staff on site? More important if it's an overnight camp, because you'll be there for the whole time. What kind of program staff do you have? Are they certified for the activities that they're doing? Do they have lifeguards? So those are the kinds of questions you want to think about when you're looking at your staff for camp. Is the camp accredited with the American Camp Association? That's not a make or break it decision for me, but it might be for you. Cost, is there financial aid available, or do they have payment plans? And that's pretty important when you're looking at residential camps, especially long-term residential camps, like some of those camps that go for 2 weeks at a time, because they are fairly expensive. And then what kind of health forms might you need? And these are things that you want to think about for like check-in. This is the kind of stuff that needs to be done way in advance, like just during the registration process before you even get to camp. Some need you to do physicals at your doctor or have medical forms signed by your doctor. And as we know, it can take a while to get in right now. So those are some things that you want to think about also. Do you guys have any questions about choosing a camp?
Can you tell us a little bit more about what the the American Camping Association looks for when they're giving a camp their seal of approval?
Sure. So some of the things that they're going to look for are, again, those staffing ratios, and they hold those pretty darn tight. It's going to be anywhere from a 1-to-5 to a 1-to-1, depending on the type of camp and the campers that go there. In addition, they're going to ensure that all of the staff have the proper certifications for the activities that they're leading. They're also going to make sure that certain facilities have been inspected, and that's really important for like boat docks, challenge courses, stables if you have horses, just ensuring the safety of the campers through making sure those facilities are top notch and well maintained. They're also going to look at dining halls, kitchens to make sure that the food is safe, everything is kept in accordance with state laws as far as food handling. And then they're also going to look at housing. So they're not going to say that a camper can't stay in a cabin without electricity. That's not what they're looking for. What they are looking for are things like, are there bed rails if you're using bunk beds? How many campers can be in a building at a time? And they're also going to look at medical staff to make sure that your nurses are certified. They're also going to make sure that your medical center has enough beds for the amount of campers that go there. So there's a ratio for that as well. So those are the types of things that ACA looks at. And they also look at both day and overnight camps. So day camps can be certified as well.
Did they give a whole lot of new rules this year for COVID?
No, because each state has their own requirements for COVID. That's another thing that you'll want to think about when choosing your camp. So just because the laws in Illinois regarding COVID are one way, that doesn't mean that they're the same in other states. So each camp, especially out of state, may have different rules and different requirements for COVID than we do inside of Illinois.
Anyone else have any questions for Jasmine? You can put them into the chat if you don't feel like asking them out loud, and I can read them out for you. Or if you think of something as we go on, you can drop it in the chat and we'll come back to it later, okay? Thanks so much, Jasmine.
You're welcome.
Next, Kathy Beals is going to walk us through some of the services and adaptations that special camps may be able to provide for your camper. Kathy?
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Like I said earlier, I may not be the one who's been here the longest, but I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. I kind of used our camp as an example, and then I did some research on some other camps. But some of the adaptations you're probably going to find is, first off, safety protocols. This thing that's been going around that people have been talking about, something about a pandemic. I'm not sure what it's called. I think it's like COVID or something. There is some safety protocols along with it that we need to follow. And so you're going to find that when you get to camp, there's going to be a check-in process. I think most camps that I've seen, it's like, we're going to check you while you're in the car. If you end up having a fever, or anybody who is with you who has a fever, then you're going to be turned away from camp that day. Otherwise, you know, we'll bring you into camp, possibly be temperature checks during the day. If somebody seems like they're not feeling well, then they may be isolated from someone else. You're going to find that the adaptations are also going to include maybe pods or teams. So you're going to be in groups of 5 to maybe 10 people at the most, so that we can do the social distancing and stuff. So those are going to be some things that you're going to find at camp that are different from prior years because of the pandemic. Most of our camps do offer a lot of one-on-one interaction when needed. The ratios, as Jasmine talked about, we usually have the ratios of 2+ counselors plus within 5 campers. So you're going to see a little bit more on that. This allows you to maybe build some friendships with the counselors, and also build friendships within your teams or pods, whatever you would like to call them. Camp is going to be accessible to all campers. So basically, we are handicap accessible. You're going to be able to go into any buildings that you want to go into. You're going to be able to visit whatever activities that you want to visit. So that is not going to be something that you're going to have to be concerned about, because the camp will be able to provide you with that. You'll also find that activities that we may provide, they will be adjusted for the campers. Some examples for our camp is we have a pool and we have a boat. Both of those are handicap accessible. We have a lift in the pool, so no one will be able to be turned away from those activities. And that's something that we want to make sure that any camp that you attend, you're able to participate in any activity that you want to participate in. Also, the programs are going to be adjusted for certain campers. When I talk about programs, I talk about like crafts and different projects that you may do. Those are going to be adjusted for any camper so that they can participate. Also, I think you'll find, I know it's true with our camp, and I think you'll find it true with any camp around the United States, is these special camps, the counselors love and respect the campers. They treat them with respect. They love them. What's going to probably be a tough thing this year is that with COVID, may not be as much hugging and all of that going on because we have to be careful as far as safety precautions. But you'll find that that's a typical day at one of these camps. Also, you're going to see a variety of activities. We have a beautiful campus, and when I heard Jasmine talk, I heard her talk about the lake and boat and pool and stuff. So I'm assuming that her camp is very similar, is that we have outdoor, so we have woods, we have the pool, the boat, the lake, all of that. But we also have areas where you can play basketball. So you're going to be able to do some indoor activities, arts, crafts, board games, but then you're also going to be able to go outside and possibly do archery, bocce ball, mini golf, the boat, the pool, and different activities like that. So we provide a wide range of activities so that you are able to do anything that you want to in a typical day. Also, we will have outdoor education. We'll be able to do like leaf collections. Our campus is looking into a butterfly garden, so we see that there'll be some opportunities there for education to be able to watch the butterflies go through their different stages. They'll also be bringing in different types of grass and flowers, so you'll be able to relate to those flowers and kind of get to know what they are, each one of them are, so that when you go out on a normal day and you're walking around, you'll be able to see and say, hey, I know what that type of flower is. So we'll do some of outdoor education. Also, we'll provide fun transportation. We have a train, so we'll have some train rides during the day, so you'll have some activities like that and just go around. We have deer and turkeys and those types of things on ground, so you'll be able to see them. Also, we have walking paths. So like you said, the hiking, the backpacking, different things like that. There's a lot of variety of activities to do at most of these camps. Also, some of the services that are provided is your special needs will be met, be it medical or food. In your registration process, everything will be met as far as special needs that be taken care of. And then we'll also have themed weeks. So each week will be a little bit of a different theme, and the projects and the activities will have to do with that theme. Hopefully one of the themes will be Disney, and so it'll change each week, so then there won't be the same thing every day and every week, since like we're doing day camp instead of residential this year. We'll try to have fires and stuff like that so that you can do things around the fireplace. There'll be activities as well as exercise. You'll also be able to develop friendships with the other groups, which may be at a distance, but you'll be able to do that and do a little bit of social interaction. And what's good about these camps is that there is structure, but there's also some freedom for the campers to be able to enjoy the activities that they might want to enjoy. And that's pretty much the activities and the services that I can think of, and the adaptations that you'll be faced with at a typical camp, special needs camp.
That was excellent, Kathy. You answered almost every single one of my questions. I think you answered them all, because I was going to ask about special diets and if there are any difficulties with that, but I think you answered that one. Anyone have any questions for Kathy? This might be a good question for you, Kathy. This is in the chat.
Okay.
What if the camper is having a seizure at camp? Are there doctors going to be at the camp that can help with that situation?
Again, I'm speaking for my camp. I'm not sure about the other camps, but we have a nurse on duty while we have campers on duty. So if something like that happens, the nurse is there to check all the medications to make sure that he or she is familiar with the medications that the campers are taking and that they're given at the right time. And then also the nurse will be there if there is anything that comes up that needs to be taken care of. The nurse will be on hand to take care of that. Also, just so you know, since we do have the boat and the pool, we also have a lifeguard and a boat driver, somebody who knows what they're doing. It's not one of our summer counselors, to drive the boat and take care of any lifeguard issues that may arise. First and foremost, this year especially, but all years, safety is important. So those are some people that will be on hand if needed.
And what camp and where was this?
This is Camp New Hope, and we are in Cumberland County, rural Neoga. It's not too far from Mattoon, Illinois.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
We do have links for Camp New Hope, as well as a long list of other camps at the end of the presentation, and we'll be emailing those to you as participants so that you can check out some of these great places. There was a wonderful list of different camps in Illinois.
And then we usually operate as a residential camp, so we also have a nurse on staff 24/7 to manage medications and any health concerns that pop up during camp. And then there's another question on one-to-one.
Right. Go ahead, Jasmine.
I would say it can be difficult sometimes to find a camp that provides one-to-one ratios. Our camp does do that. It usually costs a little bit more to accommodate the extra staff associated with that. So most camps will list if they do accommodate one-to-ones and if it's an additional fee.
Okay, so that is an accommodation that you can make.
Correct.
Yeah. Super.
Yeah, and just like Jasmine said, we don't provide it to every one of our campers, but we do provide it when it is actually needed, because there are times that it is needed.
Okay, I think I'd like to get Erin in here before the snow closes her out, because Erin's out in Colorado and they're having a snowstorm today. So
Oh, no.
really, I'm sure that all of the camp directors will agree that no 2 days at camp are the same. So Erin, can you walk us through a typical day at camp?
We lost her, Kath.
Oh,
That she was
no.
going to go back out and knock some more snow off her. Oh, wait, no. She was going to go knock some snow off her satellite dish.
Oh, gosh. Oh, no. Okay.
So we do have some things she shared with us, and I told her if there was anything else that she was going to comment on, that we can send that out to everybody. Erin is actually ran the Camp Red Leaf up in Ingleside, Illinois, for a number of years, and has worked in the special rec world for a number of years as well, and really comes with a great deal of knowledge. She's out in Colorado running Lions Camp.
Yes, the Camp for the Lions organization.
Yeah.
Right. And with Colorado comes the snow. But I can share with you one of the, she shared with us a week of what her camp would offer. And I know, as you heard Kathy Beals say, that there are a lot of different theme weeks. She was talking about a Disney week, Pirate Week was a favorite, and lots of other ones. This one happens to be a Cruise the Caribbean week. So when you check into camp that week, you would be ready for a week full of games and activities that are centered around that theme. And as you can see, after you check in and unpack, you get to go to the game room. Usually that first day is a lot of getting acquainted and unpacking. And after dinner, there's almost always, I've never been to a camp where you didn't start off with a campfire the first night and songs. And that, I think, is some of the best part of camping, is the campfire. And then you'll notice that there's a time for anyone who needs medications that's tended to before everyone heads back to wherever they are sleeping. Looks like they have dorms out at the Lions camp. And then most days start with flag raising, as you can see there. 7:50. Wow, that's pretty early. I don't know. I would like to sleep in more. But there's usually a flag raising and a pledge of allegiance. And it looks like her camp does some stretches to get everyone awake in the morning. And that's all before breakfast. Then I love this chart she's included. You get to rotate through different activities. You're usually put into a group, not always the same group that you sleep with, but into another group. So you get to make even more friends. And you go from one station to the next doing different activities. It looks like the activities offered today on this particular day was a ropes course and mini golf. Also music and drama where you get to act out a little bit. Oh, name that tune as well. And for arts and crafts, the theme was aquariums. So you might be making your own fish to put in an aquarium to follow along with the Caribbean theme. And it's pretty much the same at the other 3 rotations. You just move from one group to the next so that everybody gets to do everything that day. And just before lunch, it looks like everyone comes together for a great game of kickball in the field. And I'm sure everything is adapted to go for any of those needs. And Karen, if Aaron pops in, just tell me to stop talking so Aaron can take over. After lunch, you'll notice FOTF. And I'm guessing we used to call it FOB. I think every camp has its own different way of saying this is your rest hour. I think FOTF stands for feet off the floor. So after that really exciting morning, they want to make sure everyone is well rested. So we have time there where you can read a book, take a nap, write a letter to someone, or play a game that you might have brought, a quiet game that you might have brought with you or that the camp provides. Right after that, there's snack, and one group gets to go to the trading post. Some camps have a trading post, some don't. Trading post is usually where you have your own spending money and you can buy a snack, an extra snack, or a t-shirt, or some kind of a lot of camps have their camp logo on a notebook or a photo album, really cool stuff that you'll want to get and take home with you. Then after the snack time, there's one important thing very many camps do is camper's choice. Part of the time they keep things structured so the campers are going from one place to the next, but they also want the campers to be able to choose those things that they like the best. If you really liked arts and crafts in the morning, you can make a jellyfish in the afternoon. And wow, a luau is your other choice. Wow, I would like to go to that. And just before dinner, indoor beach volleyball. That sounds like a whole lot of fun. I wonder how they do the beach part. I'm imagining a whole lot of sand there. And then just before that, before dinner, there's a transition time. Probably wash your hands and get yourself ready for dinner. And then I love the evening activities that camp counselors come up with. I can't even imagine what Caribbean Counselor Showdown is. But, you know, you got to know camp counselors are pretty special people. They're a special brand of absolutely crazy, and they love to show off their skills in various ways. So I'm imagining that a camp counselor showdown would be who's the best at acting crazy. And then 8:30 is bedtime, so it's not too bad getting up in the morning. Some of the other activities that are included in this camp are, looks like there's barn, so there must be horses or animals somewhere at this camp, archery, and then, oh, and they actually get to take a bus places. Each day follows a definite routine. Again, you can see in the evening, you have Camper's Choice, Caribbean Wreaths, or Beachfront Karaoke. That would be fun to play too. And as the week winds down, you'll notice that there's all sorts of different Caribbean themed activities. And there's even a movie night. And usually the last night is a Thursday, I think, yes. And there's usually a special party, and yes, there it is. You dance prep and a dance party at your last night at camp. And then that morning, I think Fridays are always so sad because all of our friends leave to go home. Um, there's group pictures. I know every time we've been to a camp, the campers get to take home a picture of their unit. And while you're waiting for your parents to show up and pick you up, there's bingo and board games at this camp. And after you have your lunch and your parents come, that's when they usually have an award ceremony so that your parents can see what wonderful things you did at camp that week. I'd also like to share, Erin gave us what the check-in looks like for their particular camp. And this is pretty familiar to me too, and I'll bet the other camp directors agree. The staff, you'll notice there's a place for the staff initial. The staff are there at every step of the way to guide the campers and their parents from one station to the next so that everyone is safely checked in, that parents get to talk to staff so that the staff understand their camper a little better. If there are any medications, those are turned in. We always have name tags of some sort so that there's no confusion about who's who. And then at the second station, if there's any forms that still need to be signed, any dietary restrictions, here's where you get to talk to the nurse or the dietitian about your camper's special needs. And then here we have for station 3, that looks like the nurse check to me, another nurse check. And I imagine this year with COVID as a concern, the various things that will be included will be temperature checks and other things to make sure that everyone's keeping perfectly safe. And then station 4 is when parents get to talk to the nurse about medications. And there's always a reminder of how parents can and caregivers can contact the camp in case they need to get in touch with their camper. I know camps are very good at getting in touch with the parents and caregivers if there's any question or anything arises during the camper's stay. And we always, well, I'm not a camp director anymore, but parents are always invited to come back and to visit with their at the end of the week so that everyone can see what their camper did and we can kind of all celebrate together. If those other camp directors would like to chime in and share anything on that schedule that that you noticed pertains to your camp, that'd be great.
I think you pretty much covered it for our camp, just a lot of the same things.
Mm-hmm. The same for me as well.
We love getting together. I'm just sorry Erin could be here to tell us more about it. I was kind of winging it there. So there is a, let's see, did we answer, does anyone else have any other questions? I noticed that Ryan shared with us that some of the special recreation organizations in the northern part of Illinois have in the past planned a week or so at a typical resident camp for their participants. And I did notice as I was looking at some of the camps online that they are doing that again this year. Space is limited this year. So parents, if you really want to get your camper into something, now would be the time to start doing that. But right, most of the camps are offering day camps. And this is our link. Are these hot links in here, Karen? Okay, we were
Not through Zoom.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, of course not. So we were intending to email the people who were here today our list that includes the links to each camp's website so that you can get more information. You'll notice Camp New Hope and Camp Little Giant are right up there on top, and Camp Red Leaf from our 3 presenters tonight. And I think the 1 in 100 summer camp was the one that I saw that did have 1-to-1 camper to staff ratio as part of their program. So parents, you may want to check those out. Anyone else have any questions?
So we'll just contact the camp itself to get the forms for registering?
Yes, I did notice that at each camp's website, they had contact information. Some of them do have registration online, but a call to the camp director at this point to make sure that they're doing that wouldn't be a bad idea, because they're eager to hear from campers who want to join them this year.
And is there someone to help the individuals with special needs if they need just a little help with staying on task and moving to the next area where they're supposed to be at?
Did one of our camp directors want to field that?
As our counselors are assigned to a small group of individuals, so we usually do a 1-to-4, with the exception of anybody who needed more than that, but just in general 1-to-4. And those counselors stay with our campers through all the activities. They stay in the cabin with them, so they do help keep them on task, remind them where they're headed next, and then assist them with the activities and those programs as needed.
Same thing with Camp New Hope. I mean, we'll be going around in pods and have a schedule, and the counselors will go around with each of their pods. So they'll be assigned to a pod to go around with that particular group and help them with whatever is needed.
Okay, good.
And I think, don't some camps have daytime staff and nighttime staff?
Yes. Usually when we have our residential camp, we rotate out. So we'll have counselors that are there all day. We'll rotate out at the end of the day, and then we bring in nighttime counselors that will be there the rest of the night until the next morning.
So no one wanders off to go to the bathroom by themselves, do they, ever?
Correct. Yes,
Right.
we have the counselors staying in the cabins. So
Good. Excellent.
And do you have safe places for them to go if there's a tornado approaching or something?
Yes,
yes.
we do, and I think most camps have a safety plan for emergencies like that.
Okay.
What do they look like at your camps, ladies?
Sorry, what was that?
Jasmine, what does your shelter place look like?
So we have a couple of options depending on, our camp's large, so we're on 3,200 acres. So depending on where we are, we've got a plan for each area.
Good.
And we have one building that has a basement in it. So if they are close to that building, they will go to the basement at Camp New Hope, or we have a couple other buildings that are designated. If they need to, they will go to them, depending on which one is the closest.
Is there a lot of kids that are nonverbal?
I know we have some.
I have quite a few, yeah.
How do you adapt your program for them?
It just depends on the individual. So we try and get as much information from the camper and their caregiver as we can before they come to camp, so that we can have a plan before they even arrive as far as what communication style works best for them and if they're bringing any communication devices with them.
How old is too old to attend camp for special needs?
It depends on the camp.
We go, yeah, we go from 8 to 80.
Yep,
Okay.
we do as well.
Okay.
And it's not just the campers either. I mean, the counselors never want to leave either. Remember, if you would like to just drop something into the chat, I'll read it out loud for you if you don't feel like reading it out loud or asking your question out loud.
So I assume that most of the camps are co-ed. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, so
ours is.
how do you keep like them separate to make sure that, you know, nothing goes on kind of thing?
They may not be separate during the day, during activities. The counselors are intermingled with each group. But at night, we have girls' cabins and we have boys' cabins. And the girls' counselors will stay with the girls and the boys' counselors will stay with the boys. And we have in our big department or big building, we have girls' rooms and boys' rooms. So we have them split up.
That's
Okay,
the same for us as well. They're together during the day and then cabins are assigned on gender.
Okay.
Okay, well, if there are no other questions, we thank everyone. We especially thank our camp directors, Jasmine and Kathy, for being here tonight. And we thank Erin, even though she got snowed out. We really appreciate their expertise. And thanks to all of you for being here tonight. And remember that there will be a May. For those of you who came in a little later, there is going to be another webinar, a families webinar in May. And that one will be featuring some elementary school teachers that will talk about developmental levels for younger children who have intellectual disabilities. And I think older, I think it's going to go all the way up through high school. So make sure you look for that invitation and share it out with as many people as you can. Thanks so much for being here with us tonight, everyone. Bye and see you at
Thank
camp.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.